Hey YouTube, Matty12, Team JMT, coming to you guys with another one of my local tracks. This one you guys voted on. It's Malefic Gear Town. By a ratio of 3-1, Malefic Gear Town won the vote over TG Agents and Scraps. So, I'm going to give you guys a deck profile on this, and then a local track following. But first, let's look at the extra deck. The only thing that really matters in the extra deck is the 3 Cyber End Dragons, the 3 Stardust Dragons. I can make the Utopias, and I can make the Chimera Fortresses. Everything else just is kind of there just because it can be. Okay, so that's the extra deck. Like I said, very little of it matters other than the Cyber Ends and the Stardusts. So let's go ahead and get into the main deck. You'll see in the main deck there's a lot of the normal cards that you would see in everybody else's decks that won't really work with this deck, and I'll get into those as I'm into the deck profile. 2 Malefic Cyber Ends, 3 Malefic Stardust, 3 Beast King Barbaros, 2 Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragons, 2 Thunder King Ryu. Really good card, hurts a lot of the meta right now. 3 Gravekeeper's Commandant. That's it for the monsters. Keep in mind that the Commandants are monsters, however I'm only using those to search for my Necro Valleys. So now let's go ahead and get into these spells. 3 Geartown, 3 Necro Valley, 2 Terramorphing. 2 Pot of Duality has not really been testing as well as what I would like, but I feel like the card is just too good not to use it. So, yeah, I'm trying them out in here for tonight, but not really that impressed with the card. 2 Trade-In. I have 8 targets. Triple MST. Normally, I would think Triple MST is bad. However, I don't like Heavy Storm in this deck because I have a lot of back row that I depend on. And then I have field spells that I depend on. Some of them that I don't mind getting rid of in Geartown, but Necro Valley that I really like, and I don't want to get rid of it. So Heavy Storm is not as useful in this deck as what it is for most. So I use the 3rd MST as opposed to the Heavy Storm. Also, there's no Monster Reborn because I use Necro Valley, and there's no Dark Hole, because I feel like my monsters are big enough that if there's any problem monster, I can just summon a beater and run it over. So I don't think I need Dark Hole to eliminate my opponent's field. I feel like I can beat my way through what my opponent has. So there's the monsters and the spells. Let's go ahead and do the traps. Double Skill Drain, 1 Solemn Judgment, 2 Solemn Warning, 2 Dark Bribes to protect a lot of my plays. I really like this card. I don't like this card in a lot of decks, but it really works in this one. 2 Bottomless Trap Holes. I run such a low monster count that I feel like I need the extra protection. You know, that Bottomless Trap Hole gives me. I kind of would like to do Compulse instead, but just because I feel like Compulse can neg my opponent where Bottomless doesn't always do that. But I'm going to try Bottomless tonight, mainly because Moses Says What really likes this card. And then one of the guys in Moses Says What's locals is playing 2 Starlight Road in his. Another card that I'm not a real big fan of, but it's working for him, and there's a lot of back row that I depend on. So I feel like Starlight Road could be really good, but I'm taking his word for it and trying it out. So that's the main deck. The side deck is my 3rd Thunder King, triple Cyber Dragon. I have a Karakuri, a Chimera Tech OTK, and a Machina deck that floats around in my meta. So I have 3 Cyber Dragon and 2 Chimera Tech Fortresses in the extra for that deck. I have 2 Breaker for anything that has a lot of back row. 3 Dimensional Fissure because it hurts everybody else and it doesn't hurt me. 2 Chain Disappearance for plants and for a couple other matchups. to Safe Zone. This card is possibly busted, or at least for the plays that it can make in this deck. I feel like this card is really, really good. And 2 Light Imprisoning Mirrors for the agents that I believe I will see tonight. So there you go, guys. There's the side deck, the extra deck, and the main deck for my Malefic Gear Town. I hope you guys stick around to check out the round by round results. Okay, so round 1, I played against the same Dark World guy that I played against last week. Again, just incomplete build, and my beat sticks were bigger than his, as strange as that sounds. But yeah, my 4,000 beat out his Greffas and whatnot. And he had a field spell in there too that helped me out a little bit. I was able to summon my my Malefic Stardust without having to have my own field spell. So that was cool. So yeah, I won round 1. So we'll talk to you after round 2. Alright, so round 2, I played against another Dark World deck, and I beat him 2-1. Game 2, he actually just kind of knocked me around. I couldn't draw on any monsters, and he punched my face in. But other than that, I mean, ironically enough, my Malefic Cyber End and my Gadgetron Dragon are still bigger than Graffa, and that allowed me to win. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it basically came down to, is my beat sticks are bigger than his. So I'll talk to you guys after round 3. Alright, so round 3, I played against the T.G.Plants again, Matt Johnson of Team Host Club. And I just drew really, really bad cards. Games 2 and 3. Danny was there. Danny knows.
Yeah, I was here.
Let me tell you.
You raised your hand like they can see.
Let me tell you how bad it was.
That's funny.
This is what beat
I was here
too.
Yeah, game 2 I lost to that.
I pegged him for 5 turns.
Yes, I got attacked for 1,200 5 turns in a row. So TG Warwolf beat me.
$80 card now.
All right, so they've given away the packs a little early, so I'm gonna go ahead and open my turbo pack and see what I got. Armory Arm, hooray! So yeah, that's round 3, guys. We'll see you after round 4. Alright, so round 4, I played against Rock Stun, and we went game 3. Game 1, I lost because this was my opening hand.
You should be sad.
Terraforming, Necro Valley, Geartown, Geartown. That was my hand game 1. I actually lasted 3 turns.
Stacked.
Yeah, I stacked it that way.
He would have definitely stacked.
So, yeah, I lost game 1, and then game 2, it was big beat sticks again. That's just kind of how the deck works. However, congrats to Corey. What is it? Storminator 01. Quite possibly the most improved duelist at our tournament. Very good player. But yeah, so I ended up beating him 2-1. And I believe we're going to have another round. Are we? All right, so we're going to have 5 rounds this week. That's cool. See you guys after round 5. Okay, so round 5, I played against the Slugger, Shane Helm, and his Zombie Exceed deck. Game 1, I beat him. I had really big monsters, and he didn't. Game 2,
vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa. I got into a spot where he got rid of. I mean, everybody knows how it happens when you play Gravekeepers. Once you get rid of Necro Valley, that's when all the graveyard shenanigans start happening, and that's exactly what happened. Once he got rid of my Necro Valley, he started making all of his good plays and just raped me. Game 3 was really good. I actually wish I would have taped it because it would have been a really nice one to put up on the channel. It was a really good game. I ended up pulling it out at the end, and according to the record, I am in the top 4, so I will be playing my top 4 match now. So let's go on to top 4, guys. Okay, so top 4 match, I played against Matt Johnson of Team Host Club again in his plants.
For the 3rd time today.
Yeah, and Game 1, he just makes all of his shenanigans plays and beats me. Game 2, I ate up all of his resources and beat him. Game 3, it came down to him dropping gores, and he won it with gores. I was already through my 2 cyber ends and wasn't able to get anything bigger than the 2700 at that point. So as far as the deck is concerned, I went 4-1 and then lost in my top 4 match. I don't know. We'll talk about that over in the overview. Alright, so we're back home now. Going to give you guys the overview on the deck and show you guys again what I was playing. Surprisingly enough, guys, this deck was a lot more competitive than what I was expecting. There's the main deck. It's 41 cards. Here's the extra deck. That's the part of the extra deck that matters. And here's the other just random stuff. Side deck also. So yeah, the deck was actually a lot more competitive than what I was expecting. I knew the deck was good. However, I just kind of built the deck because I thought it was a fun deck to play. But it turned out to be a lot more competitive than what I thought it was going to be. 4-1 through the 5 rounds of Swiss, and then I lost my top 4 match to Plants. 2 losses tonight, both of them coming to Matt Johnson and his T.G.Plants. And just, yeah, I mean, honestly, playing against him was my only bad matchup, and he feared the D-Fissure and the Necro Valley. However, I don't think that he realized how well he played against that. He kept drawing cards that he thought were dead against him, but as soon as he got into his MSTs or Heavy Storms and was able to get rid of the D-Fissure or the Necro Valley, his graveyard was open to him, and he was able to make all of his shenanigan plays. So it didn't hurt him as bad as he thought it did. It just held him back. And I wasn't able to finish him off whenever I was holding him back with the Necro Valley. Changes that I would make to the deck. 2 Cyber End, 3 Stardust, or 3 Malefic Stardust, 2 Gadgetron. All of that stuff's good. The 3 Barbaros, I feel like it was an easy side deck option to come out of a Barbaros and the 2 trade-ins into the 3D Fissure. Seemed really easy for me, so that was my biggest change whenever I came to the main deck in Game 2. I could see me making that change now. Go ahead and dropping a Beast King, going down to 2 Beast Kings, taking out the 2 trade-ins, main decking 2 D-Fissure, and a 3rd Pot of Duality. I feel like that could increase consistency and could just increase my matchup Game 1 against some of the problem decks, main decking D-Fissure. I did not miss Heavy Storm. I did not miss Dark Hole. I did not miss Monster Reborn. Those are all cards that everybody else is playing, but I did not miss any of them. They didn't hurt me a bit not having them. Starlight Road. Wow, I hate this card with a passion. I feel like this card is worthless, and that I feel like when you play this card, you make it obvious to your opponent what you're wanting them to do. I ate my words tonight. That card was so good. That card is just amazing in this deck. I can't explain it any better, guys. That card was so good for me in so many matchups. My opponents constantly feared that card. They were all having to deal with these, but they feared that card. They felt like anything that they tried to do to eliminate my monsters, they were going to end up having to face that card at some point, and I constantly had my opponents reeling because they did not want to have to deal with Starlight Road. It just seemed so good for my matchups. As far as the main deck is concerned, people are questioning the Thunder King choice in the main deck. I loved it. I would not have changed it for anything. It does clash with the Pot of Dualities and the 3 Commandants, but as long as you're smart, they're good plays to be had. Also, Gravekeeper's Commanded. I run 3 of those. That guy right there, that one in particular, the one signed by the Undead Keeper, got in for some major damage with Necro Valley on the field. He comes out at 21 and got in there for some major damage. So my initial thoughts on this deck: drop the 2 trade-ins, drop the Barbaros, add a 3rd Pot of Duality, and main deck 2 D-Fissure. And this deck becomes even more competitive than what I thought it was to begin with. So I appreciate it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this segment. Subscribe, comment down below, show us how much you love us.